Hey, my name is Joe,
And I'm Mary Beth.
and this is the best of Gen X.
We are in our 40s.
And we're siblings,
We'll talk about adulting in a world so different from the one we grew up in,
so excuse us while we save a generation.
one episode at a time.
Let's go.
Hey, Joe.
Hey, Mary Beth.
Are you on estrogen? Your voice sounds different.
It does.
Our listeners know Joe is not here for this episode. Joe is in Evansville. By the time you're listening to this, my brother and I will be on flight to Edinburgh, Scotland.
Jealous.
It doesn't even seem real. Like, still, I thought it would seem more real the closer we got. It actually does not. Surprisingly, I am packed and ready. You know, except for those the most annoying thing about going on a trip is those last minute toiletries, because you have to like shower and get yourself ready. Whatever.
For sure.
So that stresses me out a little bit because I want everything in there and zipped up. But I'm proud of myself. I normally pack very last minute, but I not only have packed, I packed my husband because, you know, that's what women do.
Yes.
And also, I have a luggage scale. And
Good
so
idea.
that's another thing that stresses me out is that you don't know until you get to the airport how much
Does
it
it have to
weighs.
be 50 pounds for overseas flights too?
Yeah.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah. So, but we're both well under. And we never take carry-ons. This time we did because it's free and why not?
Absolutely.
And our carry-on, like his carry-on, just one pair of boots. My carry-on, 2 pair of boots. Because we wanted room for souvenirs.
Right.
So I feel really good. And I did overpack. But it's still, because, you know.
But it's still under 50 pounds, so it's fine.
Exactly. Like I overpacked in terms of like nothing else is getting in that motherfucker. Like that suitcase is, you know.
Yeah, to the brim.
Yeah. I couldn't even like breathe air into it. It's full. But we've got leftover room, so we're good.
I told my Joe, you know, if we hadn't had kids so late, we could go with them too.
I know. Andrea, listen. You know, Joe and I have talked about going to Iceland.
Yeah.
And apparently Iceland is an incredible culinary experience, and I think you and Joe need to join us.
Kids will just have to stay at home.
They'll have to stay. BBB will be on
That's right.
babysitting duty.
Absolutely.
That BBB is her mother. Big Bad Bryn.
Big bad Bryn. If you know, you know.
If you know, you know. Well, they say what you don't know won't hurt you. Clearly, the they we're referring to has to be a gum-smacking hipster college student who doesn't even pay for their own health insurance yet, let alone understand what it's like to be betrayed by your own body, like how your hormones at midlife act like a moody teenager more than they did when you were an actual moody teenager, how hot flashes can turn you into a human bonfire that even Satan himself wouldn't attend, and a weak pelvic floor who only shows up for work at in public and nowhere near a restroom o'clock. Luckily, I've brought back a guest who actually knows which way is up on such matters. It's our favorite physical therapist and my bestie for life, Andi, filling in for Joe. You are our first official guest host.
Yay. I am. I'm Andi. I'm a physical therapist. Been a physical therapist since 2002.
How is that possible?
I always tell people I'm old. I'm the last class of physical therapists to get a bachelor's degree. Everyone from 2003 on either had to have a master's or a doctorate. Now, since then, I've got a transitional doctorate. So, but yeah, I got out with way less debt than everyone else did. I have been mostly in general orthopedics. I started the pelvic health thing in 2020. In fact, I think it was the last airplane flight before the whole world's shut down.
Yeah.
March 2020,
Wow.
I flew to Kansas City for my first pelvic floor class. And yeah, after that, the rest of them were like online. But and so what's that been? So 5 years, been doing the pelvic floor for 5 years. Now I don't do it exclusively. I still, obviously I'm seeing Joe for his total knee. So I still do orthopedics. But I don't know, after having children and knowing that there's such a need for it, made me more interested, and I want to help people. So, and it's, like I said, it's a huge need. It's underserved. And I will see, so some therapists aren't comfortable seeing all pelvic floors, right? So, I'll see men, I'll see pediatrics, I'll see women. So, it's just everyone needs help with it. So, so I'm gonna be a myth buster today and help people learn more about what's going on with them.
Oh, I love it. Exactly. So the last time you joined us, we talked about those general aches and pains of aging and the things that no one warned us about. This time, we're diving even deeper into the stuff people whisper about or Google in private or just avoid talking about altogether. We're talking perimenopause, menopause, hormones, and HRT, prostate health, pelvic floor, bladder health, all the things Gen X and beyond are facing right now, whether we want to or not. Andi's come prepared with a list of common myths that need to be set straight. So let's bust them wide open. Andi, I'm so excited you're here.
Me too.
And, you know, when we started to plug this episode, like telling people we're going to have Andi on, Joe won't be here, etc. You know, I assumed that our listeners would get the wrong impression and think it's just going to be for women. Men, it is for you too.
Men have pelvic floors. It's true.
And men, you're married to women going through menopause.
Absolutely.
So there is a lot to learn. So it's for everyone. Let's dive right in.
All right. Myth number 1.
Oh, wait. First, let's frame this up.
Okay.
So why these topics matter to our generation. We have aging parents, our own bodies are changing, and there's, I think, at least from what I can tell, there's a shifting awareness. There are these things are being talked about online. I've seen long form interviews with doctors who are basically telling us you're either being lied to or your doctor is not doing you justice by not talking about these things with you. And so I feel like there is a wave of awareness happening, and women especially, we're asking more questions and we're demanding answers for the first time.
Yes.
As far as I can tell.
Yes.
And I also think there is a little bit of a stigma attached to these issues. You know, we didn't talk about this stuff growing up. I think the extent of what I knew, for example, was that once you have kids, it's common to pee a little when you laugh or cough or sneeze.
Right.
But that's it. No one else told me that, you know, one day, Mary Beth, your organs, your pelvic organs are going to be competing to see which one of them can run out of your body the fastest.
I went out.
No one told me that because of the toll that life has taken on your pelvic floor, that one day sex would feel like you're getting an enema. Like, no one told me these things, and
Right.
I know that I can't be alone. So
Definitely not.
So I just wanted to frame this conversation properly before we jump in. But now you are ready for myths. Let's go.
All right. Well, you said the first myth.
Oh,
First myth, leaking urine or peeing on yourself is normal after children or as you get older.
Oh my God, are you about to tell me it's not normal?
No amount of leakage is normal. Common. There's a difference, right? Like, it's common to pee on yourself after having a baby or as you get older, but it's not normal. It's not supposed to happen, right?
Okay. I got to sit in this for a second. What?
I mean, I think we got here because, back in the day, you had a bunch of male doctors that said, it's just part of having kids. It's just, just have to get over it, get used to it.
Yeah. And our mothers would say, it just happens.
Yeah, that's just the way it is.
Oh, just wait till you get older. That's what happens when you have kids.
And I mean, I don't know if it was the feminist movement or what, or just more women becoming doctors, that just said, no, no, it's not okay. This is not okay. So yeah, I mean, if you are leaking, and some women that I'll talk to will be just like, well, I only leak when I run, or I only leak when I cough, or, and it's like, okay, but you don't have to. Like, let's talk about it. Like, why is this happening? Right. But there's a lot to unpack as far as incontinence is concerned. Incontinence meaning you can't hold your pee, right?
And you're talking about just men and women?
Yes, this could go for men and women. The advantage that men have that over women is that their urethra is very long, right? So
yeah,
they got more time to get to the bathroom.
Thank the gods.
So yes, their urethra is a lot longer, so they got a little bit longer time to get to the bathroom. Typically, they have more muscle than women do, so they don't lose it as fast. And they also don't have babies coming out of them and stretching them and injuring those muscles, right? So that's the advantage that men have. And women's urethras are like, it's like a shot glass, right? Versus like a tall boy.
Sure.
So yeah, that's the disadvantage there. But there's two types of incontinence. There's urge incontinence, which is I have to go to the bathroom and I'm going to push children out of the way to get there. And on the way there, I'm peeing on myself.
Yes.
Like I just can't even get there.
Yeah.
That's urge incontinence. And then stress incontinence is cough, laugh, sneeze, jump, exercise is when you lose.
Stress meaning the physical stress being put on that area?
The stress on your bladder is what they call that. And then mixed incontinence is when you have both. Okay. You can't get to the bathroom on time, and when you cough, laugh, or sneeze, you're leaking on yourself.
Okay, so if it's not normal, what causes it? What can be done?
Right. So, I mean, most of the time it's weakness. Either over time because of the injury or the stretching of the pelvic floor through childbirth, or as we get older, we lose muscle, or we get prolapse. You have a hysterectomy. People have to have hysterectomies for a myriad of reasons. But I mean, think of the uterus as a placeholder, right? And it's held in there by ligaments. Those ligaments are cut. And so there is some descent of the pelvic floor and how all of that fits together without there being a uterus there.
Wow. Okay. Right? So that's blowing my mind because I had a hysterectomy. For one, I wanted my periods to end. They were getting awful. Right. And I think we'll get into that later. They were becoming unbearable. But at the same time, my doctor said, we'll do the bladder thing, the bladder mesh thing.
Right.
I had no idea. He did not explain to me that taking out the uterus will make things worse.
I don't want to say that it will definitely make things worse.
But it can.
But I think it can.
Yeah.
And I think that...
I didn't know, let me just say, I didn't know it was a supporting structure.
Things are put together a certain way, and it helps for it to be there.
I gotcha.
Right? But, because you don't want to shame anyone, like... If you have uterine cancer, guess what? The uterus needs to go, right?
Yeah.
You don't leave it in there to keep your pelvic floor from, going to crap. But yeah. So, there's a ton of reasons, but that is for incontinence. But that's why physical therapy or going to a physical therapist is a good idea, because a lot of times I'll have women come in and they're like, my doctor told me to do Kegels. I've done Kegels, or I've been to physical therapy and they told me to do Kegels, and I've done Kegels and it hasn't helped. Right? I get that a lot. So what do you do with that? One of the reasons is that I'll say 80. I don't know the exact number. I'll say 80%.
Okay.
80% of men are not even doing a pelvic floor contraction correctly. I don't love the word Kegel. Kegel is a pelvic floor contraction, so that's probably what I'm going to say mostly.
But it's very much tied to women.
Yes, absolutely.
Kegel,
however you want to say it.
We've always learned from Vogue and Cosmopolitan.
Yes.
Reading those magazines growing up, we always associated that with keeping your vag nice and tight.
Right.
But it's actually more broad than that.
Yeah,
it's actually pelvic floor.
It is a contraction of the muscles of the pelvic floor, which the point of is to hold pee in, hold poop in, right?
And that's for everyone, but Kegel has always been associated with women, as you know. But that's another myth busted, actually.
Yeah, the pelvic floor, and one of the hardest things about pelvic floor therapy or learning it is, if I'm doing a massage on your neck, I can see the muscle. I know where it runs. I can see it contract. I can see it relax, right? Well, I can't see the pelvic floor, right? I can't see the muscles.
Mm-hmm.
I can kind of see them contract if I'm just looking, but you can't tell whether they're tight or tense or anything like that unless you feel them.
Mm-hmm.
And then just, you're trying to feel something that you can't see. So you're like, am I in the right spot?
Right.
Yeah. So,
I remember when you were giving me physical therapy, one of the things you tried to help me with was that, and you were explaining to me how to properly, you.
Yes.
You were basically saying, like, if your butt tightens, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah, you want to try to keep out the surrounding muscles as much as possible, right? You're tightening your glute muscles. It may give you some overflow into the pelvic floor, but it's not going to keep you peeing, right? But if you can visualize the pelvic floor is kind of like a hammock, right? From your tailbone up to your pubic bone. Mm-hmm. And, they contract to hold things in. They relax to let things out, like they really relax to let things out. And then they kind of go back to normal, okay? So if they're weak, right, then you can't contract them to hold things in. Or if you're contracting incorrectly, like a lot of times when I do internal exams and I tell people, or I tell women, okay, contract like you're trying to hold pee in, they actually bear down.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm like, no, this is why we're peeing. Okay. You're actually bearing down, and things are going to come out.
Exactly.
So, a lot of women will bear down. So I'll be like, okay, feel my finger. Yes, I feel it. I'm like, okay, try to squeeze it. And they still bear down. I said, do you feel, and so a lot of part of physical therapy is just figuring out how to do it correctly, right? And then after they figure out how to do it correctly, we strengthen it up. We try to, you do need those supporting hip muscles, glutes, like deep hip muscles, like they need to be strong because they will help. But and core lower abdominals, like those actually help make the pelvic floor contraction a little stronger.
Sure.
But you got to be able to do it correctly first.
Can I just say, if you weren't in my life, I would never in my wildest imagination think that a physical therapist would be helping me with these kind of problems. None of my doctors my entire life ever said, I went to my urologist, I went to my gynecologist about my problems. Neither of them said, well, there's this option, there's this option, but there's
Exactly.
also physical therapy.
Exactly. So there's actually a study out there somewhere that talks about, or even I think you could probably go on like the American Gynecology Association. It says first line treatment for prolapse and is PT. That is your first
Oh my God.
line treatment.
So what are your theories about why we're not told? Why did my doctors not even mention it? Even mention it.
I think old school.
Okay.
Right? Maybe they have had people go and say, well, it didn't help. Right? Now, the problem with that is, like I don't believe everything my patients say about their doctor, but I feel like doctors tend to believe everything that patients say about their PT,
Oh, yeah.
But, it didn't help. Okay, well, did you do the exercises? Did you actually go? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, sure.
I have plenty of patients that see me one time and then, either they didn't like me or they just don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Like, it's uncomfortable. I get it.
Yeah.
Like, I get
It's work.
Pelvic floor physical therapy isn't comfortable.
It's work.
Like, people don't want to talk about that stuff to strangers. So, whether they didn't come back because they didn't like me, they didn't come back because they didn't think it was for them, doesn't mean it didn't work if you didn't try, right? So maybe some of that, they think it's not going to work. And I mean, let's be honest, they're not making money from patients going to PT, right?
Sure.
But they'll make money if they do surgery.
Yeah, and that's what was recommended to me.
Yeah. So, I think in some cases it's necessary. But I'll say this. A good example, and we haven't really gotten into prolapse yet, but prolapse can be a reason for incontinence. Prolapse meaning the descent of pelvic organs, including the bladder, the rectum,
Yes.
and the uterus.
I know all about that.
And so let's take a sidebar into prolapse for a second. The uterus can actually come out of your body.
Yeah.
Okay. Like literally outside your body.
It was.
Through the vagina.
Right.
Right.
And I'm taking a shower one day and washing myself and going, whoa, what's that? That's not supposed to be there.
Am I having a baby?
Like,
No.
what's
Yes.
happening?
Now, can the bladder come out of your body? Technically, yes. However, it would be wrapped in your vagina.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I like to try to explain it to people. So if you think about, the vagina is a canal, right? Sitting above that canal is your bladder. Sitting below it is your rectum.
Yeah.
Okay. And, you think about the scary movies where you see like head and fingers like pushing through the wall, but
Yeah.
you don't actually see the person.
Exactly.
You just see the fingers and the wall and the head.
Yeah.
That's what prolapse of the bladder is.
And that is such an incredible image. That's so helpful because that's exactly what's happening. Like when you're having sex and your vaginal wall is pushing on your rectum because everything's sort of falling down.
Yeah.
That explains why that's happening.
So that's why you feel like there's something in there.
Yeah.
Or,
Or you feel
women,
the urge to like, oh my God, if this lasts any longer, I'm going to shit all over you.
yeah.
I mean, that's how I
I
felt.
mean, yeah. I mean,
That's
it
why.
can.
That's one of the reasons along with my periods
Mm-hmm.
just being unbearable, that's one of the reasons I sought help.
Well,
because
and
I was like, I can't have sex with my husband worrying about this, because
Yeah.
that sensation is
not fun.
Is not fun, and it's
Not sexy.
It's not sexy, and it's distracting.
Yeah. Well, and
So-
it can go the other way too. Like I have a lot of women that are like, I feel like I'm going to pee during
Sure,
sex.
yeah.
Like, and it's because there's a lot of thrusting right on the bladder, right?
Yeah.
It's like smacking the bladder.
Yeah.
So
And
yeah.
again, nobody prepared us for this.
No.
You just have to experience it and then go, what the fuck's
Yeah.
wrong?
What is that?
What's happening to me?
But, one of the things that PTs will ask is, do you feel like a feeling of falling out, a feeling of bulging or pressure in the vaginal area? And that's usually what that is. I had that after having Lucy. I couldn't even walk on the, I like to work out a lot, and I couldn't even walk on the treadmill without feeling like it felt like there was a tampon in there that was like trying to get out. And I was like, I can't, and I couldn't walk on the treadmill at like 2 miles per hour without peeing on myself.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh no, we can't do this. I cannot live like this.
This is the kind of conversation I could have with anyone.
Yeah.
So my question is, why are we not talking about it with each other?
Yeah.
Anyway.
I mean, we're definitely pushing, like, the practice that I work with, we have from the time that Lucy was born, I think we had like 1 or 2 pelvic floor therapists, and now Lucy's 9. We have like 50 something.
That's incredible, Andi, because until today, I knew you studied this, and I knew that this was sort of a branch of your PT, right? But until today, until you started talking about it, I didn't even know you did pelvic exams. And so when a patient comes to you, because you're not the first point of contact, right?
Correct.
So how does a patient get to come to you for that?
Yeah. So, I do actually have a couple of direct access. These are just women who know their stuff and are like, I'm just going to go.
Yeah. Women
Screw
who have
what my doctor,
looked into it
yes.
and done their own research.
Yes. And so I do have some direct access. But usually they are coming to me either from a urologist, gastro, or OB/GYN. We see people postpartum, and then older. My youngest patient has been 5. My oldest patient's like 80 something.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Okay. So I see all of that.
That's really interesting.
Yeah. And so the thing is that you can have dysfunction of the pelvic floor at any age. It's not just because you've had a baby, right?
Another myth busted.
Yeah, right. But going back to incontinence, so prolapse is a reason, and weakness is a reason. The other reason, 2 that people don't think about, and their mind's usually blown when I tell them, is you can leak because you have a tight pelvic floor.
What?
Yeah. So going back to my hammock, right? The hammock's supposed to be like a hammock, but if it's all balled up,
all balled up. I love that.
right?
My grandpa used to say that.
And you got to go and you need to hold it, right? So the listeners can't see it, but I have a fist, right? Okay. Contract or make a fist. Make a fist, Mary Beth. Okay. Now make it harder, like more of a fist.
Okay.
Squeeze it tighter. Are you getting much more? No. So if your pelvic floor is all tight, you can only contract it so much more. Like it's only going to contract so much more. And if it's not enough to hold pee in, guess what? You're going to have to, right? Also, tight pelvic floor can cause more urge. A lot of women who think they have UTIs, that don't, like they go and they're like, I know I have a UTI, and then they pee and no bacteria is ever found. Guess what? You probably have a tight pelvic floor.
Damn. Okay. All right.
So it can cause urge. It can cause burning.
Well, oh, go ahead.
Yeah, no. So
Urge, burning.
Yes, tight pelvic floor can cause you to be at leak. It can also make you think that you have a UTI because it will cause urge. It will cause burning because those muscles are very closely, they're attached to your pubic bone, which is close to your urethra. And your organs don't have sensation in a normal sense, right? So, for example, if you're having a heart attack, you have left shoulder pain. You don't have pain in your heart, right? You don't have, you can have chest pain, but you can have jaw pain, you can have shoulder pain. Like when you have gallbladder, you have like thoracic mid-back pain.
Sure.
Because you're not going to say, oh, my gallbladder hurts.
Right?
So your urethra, you're not going to say, oh, my urethra hurts. Right? So those muscles will cause other symptoms. Just like neck muscles that are tight cause headaches.
Yes.
Tight pelvic floor muscles cause back pain. They cause what you would call bladder pain, but it's probably tight pelvic floor muscles.
That is crazy. Okay, this is the first time I'm hearing about tight pelvic floor muscles. It reminds me of the very first time I had a UTI, which was maybe 8 years ago. Mm-hmm. Ever since then, I've never been the same. Since I can remember when it happened, I can remember the moment that I knew something was wrong. And ever since then is when I noticed the other bladder symptoms.
Right.
And you talked about urge. I always started to feel this urge, but had nothing
Nothing in there.
Yeah, and you told me once, you said, if your pee doesn't last 6 to 7 seconds, you do not need to go to the bathroom.
Amen, sister.
And I've never forgotten it. But yeah, that first UTI was when I started to notice that I have these urges, but have nothing to get rid of.
Right.
And it was driving me crazy.
Yeah. And this kind of can go back to urge. I mean, there's so much to talk about, but a lot of the other things that I do other than just the muscle stuff is, and like trying to get you to contract it, is behavior changes, right? Mm-hmm. Because it's like, well, I was always told when you have to go, you just go. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, no, right? Your bladder is like a toddler.
Oh my God.
If you give it what it wants, it's going to want more
and it will rule your life.
And it will run your life.
Listen,
is what it will do.
Do you watch Big Bang?
No, I don't, but my kids have gotten me on Young Sheldon, and it is hilarious.
Okay. Big Bang is epic. Now, there is a line in Big Bang where Sheldon says, it's called bladder training. You'll thank me when you're 80.
Absolutely.
I've never heard of bladder training, but now it makes so much sense.
Yes.
So don't give your bladder everything that it needs. You think it needs.
Just because you have the urge to go doesn't mean you gotta go.
And so that helps then to like hold it.
Yes. Well, like we'll teach urge suppression. Like if a woman comes to me and they're like, I am in the bathroom every 30 minutes. That is not normal. You should not be peeing every 30 minutes. Okay.
And whoever tells us what normal pee schedule is,
right?
Nobody.
No. I mean, when we were talking about this episode, I told you everything in medicine's answer is it depends.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
So there is and everything's on a spectrum or on a continuum, right? There's a truth in you shouldn't be going every 30 minutes, but then there's that like truckers have gotten into trouble because they hold it too long. And then
Well,
they can't, their
Josh,
bladders get so big.
I worry about Josh because he's a driver for
Yes.
a
Yeah.
cable company, and he's always on the road, and he has to force himself. He's trained his body
Yeah.
to like hold it in.
Yeah. Well, and so your bladder can actually expand, and then it won't tell your brain when you have to go.
Damn.
And then you leak on yourself. So yeah, there's you got to be somewhere. Everything in moderation.
Damn
Everything
it.
it's the rule of life. Everything in moderation.
I hate that rule.
But yes, it's you really probably should be going to the bathroom every 3 to 4 hours. Less than seven times a day or less.
Wow. Okay.
Now, if you're drinking lots of water and you're, every time you pee, it's quite a bit,
It's
then okay.
substantial enough.
Yeah. But if you're going to the bathroom every 30 minutes and you're literally tinkling, no.
Okay.
That should not be happening.
Good to know.
Urge suppression would be, and there's nothing fancy about urge suppression. Urge suppression is you contract your pelvic floor,
Yes.
you cross your legs if you have to.
Yes.
Curling your toes helps.
Really?
And you think about something else until the urge passes. And then once the urge passes, you go about your life.
Okay.
And then typically, if you don't really have to go, you could go another hour before it comes back.
Okay.
But you may have to train your bladder to do that.
Yeah.
Now, some women will say, I'm in the bathroom every 30 minutes, so I just don't drink. I just don't drink water.
Oh, Lord.
Okay? Now, that's a problem, too. You
Big
can't do
problem.
that. The reason why you can't do that is because if your pee is really concentrated,
Yes.
there's these thing called bladder irritants, and the bladder will be like, nope, we're not having it. Again, it's like a toddler. We're not having it. I want it out.
Yeah.
And so it will give you the urge because it doesn't like what's in your bladder. It's irritating it.
Yeah.
So it will make you get rid of it.
Yeah.
Typical, and of course, bladder irritants are everything we love.
Yeah.
Chocolate, wine, orange juice,
I'll tell you what my urologist said.
lemons, strawberries.
He said the 3 C's.
Chocolate, coffee, caffeine.
He said citrus, cerveza, and oh shit, what was the other one? It may have been coffee.
Carbonation's one of them.
It may have been
Coke.
that, but it was like the 3 C's. I just remember Oh, maybe because it was me. He said citrus. What was the other one I just said? Cerveza. And cigarettes.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, bye.
Yeah, that's another one. But I mean, and I never tell, like, doctors are kind of that end all be all. They'll be like, you can't ever drink coffee again.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, let's be reasonable adults here. What I will do is if I think bladder irritants is the issue, I will have them do what we call a bladder diary. Bladder, you can tell within a couple of days a pattern of, I eat this, I have to go every 30 minutes, right? If I don't eat that, I'm good, right? And then it's just knowing, right? I know that if I drink coffee in the morning, I have to go to the bathroom every 30 minutes until it's gone. And then I don't drink coffee after that. And the rest of the day, I'm fine. Right. So guess what I'm not going to do if I'm going on a long car ride? I'm not going to drink coffee.
Yeah.
Right. So it's just knowing that there's nothing wrong with you. This is going to irritate your bladder. And so if you drink it, it's your choice. Right? It's your choice to drink it. You know what it's going to do to you.
Yes.
Right? So I don't ever say don't drink it, but it's good to know that that's what's going to happen if you do drink it
that
and
you
you don't
can-
think you're crazy.
So that you can make informed decisions about your life.
Now, bowels are a little different. Bowels take longer. And so you'd almost have to keep a bowel diary for like 3 months before you could actually like find a pattern with something you're eating. That's why they usually do elimination diets for bowels.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, that's
Do you want to do one more myth before break?
sure. Next myth is men do not have pelvic floor issues. I think we already busted that one.
Yeah.
With the fact that they do have pelvic floors, therefore they do.
That's, that's crazy to me. Because, again, I've always associated it with childbirth.
Absolutely. Yes. Now, I will say most men do not have pelvic floor issues until they're older. But so the majority of men that I see are post-prostatectomy.
What?
Post-prostatectomy.
Tell me what that is.
That is the removal of your prostate gland. Usually because of, well, I don't know why you would remove your prostate for any other reason but cancer. But, prostate cancer can grow very slowly. Prostate cancer is very curable. There are, like 90% curable.
Really?
Yes.
That's the opposite of what I've gathered.
Well, the early detection is huge, right? But men don't like to go to the doctor. So, here we are, kids.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, 90% curable.
That's heartbreaking.
It's usually, it's usually slow growing, but there are some aggressive forms of prostate cancer.
But that is heartbreaking to hear how curable it is.
Absolutely.
Yet every person I've ever known with prostate dies.
Yeah.
Because men don't go to the fucking doctor.
Well, not only do they not go, but that's the last thing they want to talk about.
Yeah, why?
Right? They don't want to talk about the fact that they can't pee. They don't want to talk about the fact that they can't get an erection. They don't want to talk about those things because it makes them less of a man.
Yeah. What is a prostate exactly?
A prostate, so the prostate gland, it sits below your bladder, and it goes around your urethra. So basically, your urethra is going through it.
Okay.
It is a gland that adds fluid to your semen, and it also helps push ejaculate out of the urethra.
Okay.
That's
so
its
it's
job.
important.
It's important.
Okay.
It's not vital, obviously. They remove it. It's not going to kill you to not have it.
Yeah.
Yeah. After a prostatectomy, you are able to get an erection. Now, the problem with that is the nerves for an erection are very much intertwined with the prostate.
Oh,
and so surgeons try to spare it the best they can.
Sure.
It doesn't always work. So there are other things like some of the men that I've seen they have an injection that they can do that seems to work really well. And you basically inject like at the time of intimacy, so that it.
That's very sad for me.
Or
to
they
hear.
can take Cialis, or they can try those things. Usually that's what they try first. They try the Cialis first, and then if that doesn't work, they'll do the injections. If that doesn't work, you can get like a penile like pump or
It's heartbreaking to me to think that the prostate is so consequential.
Yeah.
And so what should men be doing at our age to prevent, protect?
So the main things for prevention are healthy lifestyle, diet, maintaining a healthy weight, not smoking, not over drinking, again, would we say everything in moderation? However, it does say that staying sexually active can actually improve the health of your prostate.
Well, my husband is in good shape. He will be fine. Josh, you're good.
But a lot of times when a man is at the stage where he's getting prostate cancer, depending on his lifestyle at that point, he may already be having some erectile dysfunction. It's very common in men. It's usually one of the first signs of heart disease in men.
Really?
Yes, because it's all about blood flow.
Wow.
Right?
Okay. I didn't think of that.
The main thing with erection is that, the corpus, I'm going to say it wrong. My anatomy is not wonderful with that, but, that fills with blood. And then there's kind of like this cinch muscle that holds it in there. And so if you're not getting good blood flow, you'll have so usually the first sign of heart disease in men who have diabetes typically have trouble with that.
Tell me this. So what are some of the warning signs that there's a problem with their prostate?
So trouble peeing.
Okay.
Right. So there's another issue called benign prostatic hypertrophy. So as men age, that gland gets bigger and bigger, and so it starts to constrict the urethra, and so then they have trouble with pee flow. It's it's really hard to start. Takes really long time, like almost like trickles. The flow is not as good as it used to be. A lot of times they'll give them medication called Flomax for that. So those are usually the first signs, but you need to have the PSA. There's a test that men get called a PSA. And so if those numbers start to climb, you need to have it checked, biopsy or something like that.
So as women, we know that we need to get our breast exams annually at a certain age.
Right.
Do men need to get prostate exams at a certain age every year? Is that one of the things they can do to protect themselves?
Yes. I would say, I mean, I don't know if it's like the same age, but I would say 40, like women are supposed to start getting breast mammograms at 40. So I think men should start getting PSA tests at 40.
Yeah. I mean,
and every year,
symptomatic or not, just
absolutely every year, so that if it jumps,
right,
something's wrong.
Right.
Something's going on. Yeah.
And early detection then.
Yes, that's the early detection part. Yeah. Obviously, if you have any pain, like if you have penile pain, if you have testicular pain, like that's not normal. You need to have that checked out. That's like especially for young kids, testicular pain is huge because that it can turn, the testicle can get turned and that cuts off the circulation and the testicle can die.
What?
Yeah. Yeah. And you'd have to have it removed.
At a young age.
Absolutely.
Oh.
Yeah. Testicular torsion. Couldn't think of the word. Testicular torsion can happen. So if, it really could happen at any age. But I think it tends to happen more in younger kids. So you definitely, anytime,
So if that were to happen, what are their options?
To remove it. I mean,
and still risk.
I mean, I guess they could see all what things.
Well,
so
like
I could see
nerves.
Are we talking about the prostate or testicle?
Well, I thought it was related. Like
no, just we were talking about how do we make sure our prostate is okay if you're having testicular pain, penile pain, anything like that. Could be your prostate. You need to get it checked out, basically.
Gotcha.
If you're having pain in those areas.
Gotcha. Okay.
But also, testicular pain is huge. That is not normal and needs to get checked out immediately. Okay. Yes.
Okay. Gotcha.
But other issues that we talked about, the BPH, but then some younger men, some older men can have prostatitis. And that's just, they don't have prostate cancer. But the prostate can get infected.
Yeah.
And so usually a course of antibiotics works for that. But sometimes you can get chronic prostatitis, almost like chronic UTIs.
Yeah.
But sometimes, just like with chronic UTIs being tight pelvic floor, chronic prostatitis can actually be tight pelvic floor and not anything wrong
And
with
so
your
what are the signs of that?
just deep pelvic pain, pain with peeing, sometimes pain with ejaculation or orgasm or something like that. But typically when men have that pain, they will go because it's super uncomfortable and they're not used to that kind of stuff. You know, I think women tend to be like, well, no, you know, when it happens in a man, it's different because they don't have periods. They don't have those things. When things like that happen in women, doctors are like, it's probably just your cycle, you know, and they just brush us off, right? And we're supposed to just like live with figuring out whether that's what it is or not, right? That's why they always tell you, you know, you have to have 3 abnormal menstrual cycles before we'll look into it, right? It's like, come on.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
so yeah. But back to the prostatectomy, because that is, you know, a lot of men our age are going through that now.
Yeah.
Or, you know, Gen X men are going through that now. There's going to be a period of time where there's just constant leakage, like usually the first 2 weeks. And then you start to kind of gain it back. And some men gain it all the way back, incontinence, leaking urine. For the ones that don't, it's typically a couple of things that I've seen, since this is the main men population that I'm seeing. There's a study where they took men who had prostatectomies, and the majority of the men who regained continence had the strongest butt muscles. So
Once again, Josh, honey, baby, you're fine.
so keep your butt muscles strong, men. But as we get older, men and women alike, we tend to lose hip strength more than anything else. And as the hips get weaker, your pelvic floor is getting weaker too, right?
Okay.
So I work a lot with getting their butt muscles as strong as possible post prostatectomy. That usually, like, we'll be working on it for a couple of weeks and they'll be like, it's so much better.
Yeah.
Right.
Amazing.
And then the other, and you'll love this because I already taught you, but the other people who maybe not see as much of a improvement, or now I'm just talking about it on the first day, is the breathing. So they will hold their breath when they're bending down to put their shoes on, or they're holding their breath when they're getting up from a chair and they're like, and I'm leaking. I'm like, because you're holding your breath. You hold your breath.
Ladies.
Your pelvic floor is like a balloon. It's just going straight down and it is not holding anything in. So
Ladies
I
and gentlemen.
have all of these men breathing now when they're doing, I call it hard things. Breathe when you do hard things. And they're like, my leakage is so much better when I breathe.
I tell you what, this woman has opened a window to a whole new quality of life just by talking to me about the importance of breathing. And having been her patient, I have experienced firsthand the difference that breathing makes, because we do hold our breath when things hurt or whatever. If we breathe through something properly, you'll be amazed at how your body will respond. And it's like, duh, our body needs oxygen. Oxygen makes it work the way it's supposed to.
Yeah.
It makes so much sense, but again, we just don't talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, holding your breath does a lot of things. It increases the pressure in your pelvic floor, increases the pressure in your spine, increases your blood pressure. Like, don't hold your breath. You need oxygen, people.
Keep
so
breathing.
Yeah, it's amazing how many times I tell people to breathe every day.
Just remind them, do an exercise. You give them an exercise, they do it, and they're like just aching all the way through.
Right, that
And then you
hurts.
say, do it again. this time I want you to breathe. And it's like, wow, that didn't hurt.
Yeah. Count out
Incredible.
loud. I always say count out loud.
Incredible.
You can't talk and hold your breath at the same time.
Incredible. Well, this is amazing so far. I can't wait to hear what else you have in store. Let's take a quick break. Let's do some breathing.
Yes.
And we'll be back to talk about some menopause hormones and stuff like that.
Yes.
Hey, listeners, do you like judging people as much as we do?
Then judge us.
To submit your criticisms and complaints about our show, you can reach us at gotohell@bazinga.biz.
For all other comments, questions, or suggestions about future episodes, drop us a line. Send us a text from our website at thebestofgenx.buzzsprout.com and click on the link just above the show notes.
Or email us at thebestofgenx@gmail.com.
All right, we're back. I feel better.
I'm glad.
Breathing. Okay, let's do a couple of updates first. So I have a country update for us. And this, my brother will be listening to this, and this is the first time he's hearing it. So we're now in 29 countries, not just 28, 29. Welcome to the party, Sweden. We're happy to have you.
I am Inga from Sweden.
Can't wait to see you someday. I'd like to go to Sweden around Christmas. And then I have a listener shout out. So after our last episode, when we announced to everyone that we were going to Scotland together, I got a Facebook message from Julie. Julie is someone we've known for years. We grew up together, went to school together. And I got to say, Julie and her cousin and her sister, those three girls actually introduced me to Jesus. And we were great friends all through school. And my life took a dark turn in adulthood if I hadn't had that foundation.
I actually was saved at the cousin's house. I remember talking to her parents.
Get out.
Yep.
I was saved with them at a retreat one summer when I was 15. So thank you, Julie, just for that. But also, so she sends me a Facebook message and she says, I just finished your episode and my family and I just got back from Scotland. So here are some tips. And she just sent me this long list of things about, where to go, what to do, what it's like. And then I followed up with, of course, I'm stressed about the weather. Tell me what I need to pack. And she, again, helped me out, gave me her number. So Julie, God love you for many reasons, but just wanted to give you a shout out. I appreciate first that you listen. I know that you've listened from the start, and I love you and I love your family, and I appreciate your tips for Scotland. Uh-oh, you know what that sound is?
Hot takes.
Hot takes. Andi, would you like to give a hot take first?
I will. You're not gonna like it.
Okay. If you say Twilight is stupid.
If you do not, no, let me rephrase. It does not count if you listen to a book. It only counts if you read the pages and the words. I said it.
I believe that.
But you're an Audible person.
I know. I never was. Like, I have always been a book person. I've got to feel the book. I've got to turn the page myself. I've got to smell it. I once had an extensive library until we moved and I had a feng shui attack. But since working from home, some people watch TV in the background or listen to music. I listen to books, whatever. So it kind of became a thing for me. But listen, I have never missed that actual experience of sitting down with the book. More. No, I've never missed it more.
Oh, missed it more. Okay.
Now, I have consumed so much more with Audible, just because you can listen. I can finish a book in an afternoon. So I love it for that reason, but I very much do miss. And you're right. If the book isn't in your hands and you're not taking notes or underlining or highlighting, I am with you.
I mean, Audible would totally work better for me because I have taught myself to walk and read a book at the same time.
Yeah.
Because I guess I don't enjoy sitting still and reading a book because I feel like
There's
there are other things that
too much to do.
I'm a multitasking kind of person. So Audible would be perfect for me because I could run, I could walk, I could work out while I'm listening to the book. But it feels like I'm cheating.
Yeah, right. I know. I get it. And it's part of, I think, a generational thing because we grew up holding that book and turning that page, and we have transitioned with the rest of the world, but it feels like we're cheating. I'm with you. My hot take is this. I think there is a phrase that I think we need to retire. Happy wife, happy life. Now, we say it a lot. It's a joke. We laugh. And we laugh partly because it's true. But I have to admit, and I've never said it out loud, but I've always felt allergic to that comment. There's always been a bit of a inside when I hear that. And then I was listening to a podcast yesterday and that came up. And and the podcast was about something else, but they talked about how that happy wife, happy life theme has kind of been, I don't know, overdone. Mm-hmm. And it got me thinking about something that I'm always thinking about lately, which is the pussification of our society. Right. And I'm very much on team masculinity and masculine energy. And I think that we have done our young boys and men no favors, and thus society no favors, by pussifying them into submission to demanding female energy, feminine energy.
What does happy wife, happy life mean to you, though?
It means to me that's a great question. The reason that I'm allergic to that is because it means men following behind, holding the purse, doing shit because my wife is being demanding, and the easiest thing to do is just do what she says, make her happy. Just say yes, dear. And I've never liked that. I've always felt repulsed by that. And the more that I think about the pussification of our country, the more allergic I am to that. So I think we need to retire that phrase, because to me, the connotation is that men don't have an opinion. They don't have a right to an opinion. It's about making her happy so that life can be easier and more calm. And that's not the life I live. Josh and I have a very different existence, and I always encourage his input and force his opinions out of him. Like, I am safe. You can tell me what you want. Right. I feel like it's more of a team effort. And so I just think we need to retire that phrase.
Yeah. I mean, I'm married to more of an alpha male. So a lot of times he cares way more about things than I do.
Yeah.
So
yours is happy husband, happy life.
Yeah. Well, I'm just kind of like, okay, yeah, sure.
You're very easygoing.
Yeah. I don't. He's so passionate about it that I'm just like, okay. I don't hate it now.
You know what?
If there's something where I'm like, absolutely not, I hate it, I don't, if there's something very specific that I don't like, I will speak up.
Sure.
But if I don't care either way and he's super passionate about it, I'm like, what?
Andi, this is further proof. That we're...
If you like it, I love it.
This is further proof, ladies and gentlemen, that Andi and I are soulmates. because we basically married each other. So I'm an alpha male in my house, but I don't want to be. I have to pull it out of him because he's so conditioned to be a pleaser. Right. I'm so passionate. Joe is so passionate. And so you're so easygoing about stuff, and Josh is easygoing about stuff. And so I try to encourage balance, and I want the masculine and feminine energy in our households to be balanced. And so, yeah, I just heard that phrase and finally wanted to say out loud for the record that I don't like it. It doesn't have to be, and I don't think it should. All right, let's move on. Okay, give me a myth.
Hormone replacement or taking estrogen will cause breast cancer.
This one makes me angry. We've always been told that hormone replacement therapy for men and women is bad. That's the impression I get.
Right. Well, I think
I'm hearing now that that's not the case.
Yeah, I think it depends. It for our mothers, no. So here's the thing. In the 80s, even earlier than that, they did start hormone. Premarin. If you ever heard that, our mothers were taking that. Our grandmothers were probably taking that. And then in 97, they started a study, Women's Health Initiative was what the study was called. And in 2002, so they started in 97, 64,000 women, ages 50 to 79, average age 63.
Okay.
And they wanted to see what hormone would do. They were looking at osteoporosis, breast cancer, things like that. And they stopped the study in 2002, citing that there was an increased risk of breast cancer with estrogen. They said 26%. And if you look at the numbers, if you do stats, a lot of studies talk about statistical significance, right?
Yeah.
If you have a bunch of numbers, 64,000, right? If you have a bunch of numbers, one isn't a statistical number,
right?
It's
exactly.
not a statistical difference. So there was a 26% increase in breast cancer cases during the study. If you do statistics on those numbers, it was not statistically significant.
Damn.
It would be like saying instead of 5 in 100 women getting breast cancer, 6 in 100 got breast cancer. So, I mean, your chance of breast cancer, your risk of breast cancer increases every decade that you're alive. So we get mammograms starting at 40.
Yeah.
That's when the risk starts to increase for everyone.
Yeah.
Well, when you're 50, your risk is higher. When you're 60, your risk is higher.
Yeah. So so in this study, there wasn't adequate proof of causation.
And if we go back to the ages,
yeah,
if your average age is 63,
you're
past menopause.
Yeah.
Like none of these women were going through what we're going through right now.
Got it.
These women were postmenopausal, and every postmenopausal woman, because they're a decade older than they were the prior decade, has a higher risk of breast cancer.
Jesus. Andi, I'm glad you brought this up because I've been watching a lot of long-form interviews with female doctors who are debunking this myth.
Right.
And they're citing the same study.
Yes.
And I didn't know, you could never believe everything you see on the internet, right? So I'm glad you brought it up because you're someone I trust and I know that you have the cred. So what can we do? Like, I believe I'm in perimenopause.
Yes.
I had a hysterectomy, so I can't gauge it by my periods.
Correct.
My NP told me at a recent appointment, well, I could give you the test to see if you're going through menopause, but
what was the test?
she didn't. I don't remember her saying.
Okay.
But the thing was, knowing is no big deal because there's nothing you can do about it.
Absolutely.
Okay. Can we please talk about the fucking nightmare that is perimenopause and menopause?
Yes. So one of the issues with talking about this is nomenclature. So like perimenopause versus menopause versus postmenopause. So menopause is when you have your last period. Okay. Menopause basically means that your ovaries can no longer ovulate an egg.
Yeah.
There may be eggs left.
Like the baby store is
but
closed.
You cannot get a follicle to get an ovulation.
Yeah. The
Okay?
baby store is shut down for business.
So, so your last menstrual period is menopause. However, you do not know when your last menstrual period is until it has been a whole year.
Right.
Right? So your last menstrual period happens today. You're not going to know it's the last one until a year from now.
Okay.
Okay? So another thing that, well, I just want to say, most of my reference of this information is from 2 books. Should I reference them?
Please, yes.
One is called The Menopause Manifesto by Dr. Jen Gunter.
Dr. Jen Gunter, I love your title.
So it's funny because it says, Own Your Health with Facts and Feminism. If you choose to read this book, which had great facts in it, I believe, I will say it's very feminist to the point where I was like,
Okay.
yeah. So
Yeah.
the patriarchy is not the reason.
Jesus
that-
Christ.
Yeah. So just
But-
be warned when you read that one, there's a, if you're not into that, if you're into it, you'll love it. The other one is Estrogen Matters by Avram Blooming, MD, and Carol Tavris, PhD. This one also great information, goes very in depth about the Women Health Initiative, super dry, but good information. So, what did you ask me? I'm sorry.
No, I said, can we talk about the nightmare that is this condition?
Yeah,
The
so-
change
yeah,
as
so-
we heard growing
Yes,
up.
And we talked about, 1 year, so that's menopause. Postmenopause is after, perimenopause is before. 10 years. On average, you're going through perimenopause for 10 years.
I was having dinner with friends who are older than me, and I said, when does this stop? And they both looked at each other and then looked at me and said, 10, 15 years. I was like, no, give me some hope, because it feels like there's nothing we can do about it. And let's talk about what it's like. I mean, hot flashes, anywhere, anytime, no relief. Like, I could stand in a freezer and not feel better.
Yes.
Night sweats. Like, I'm talking about soaking through my pajamas, soaking through my sheets, night sweats, insomnia, like brain fog.
Yes.
Can't form sentences. And let's talk about, okay, is vagina depression a thing?
Vaginal dryness, itching, irritation, all of that.
Yeah, like, so here's where I'm at. So I'm 47, and I've suspected for the last year or two that I'm going through this. Josh and I have a very good sex life, and I love being intimate with him. To me, it's a very sacred and important part of our relationship. But I'm never in the mood. Now, the good thing about me is that I don't need to be in the mood. If he initiates, I'm in. My body may not respond the way it's supposed to, so we use lubricants or whatever, but I'm always in. You know what I mean? But unlike my previous life with him, I don't initiate. I don't think about it.
Right.
So that whole, the desire, but if I've told him, I'm like, dude, if you want it, just take me.
Right.
Like, you have to understand that this is not by choice.
You are a better woman than me.
Girl, because I know what it's like to be with someone who doesn't seem to want you.
Absolutely.
And I never want my husband to feel rejected. And I don't ever want to be the gatekeeper
Right.
of our sex. Mm-hmm. I believe you marry someone and your body becomes theirs and their body becomes yours. And you don't have to give him permission, and you don't have to be in the mood. Like, you can't be the gatekeeper of that shit. I don't believe. So I have to tell him, look, you'll feel down there. I don't feel ready to you, but I'm in, man. I'm in. So that's been a change that I've had to adjust to not ever initiate. And then he thinks, oh, she's not interested. She doesn't want it. And so we go longer. And then after 3 weeks, we fuck like rabbits for an afternoon. And he's like, I missed you. And I'm like, dude, I missed you too. Just take me. Like, don't even, he's like, so men need to understand that the interest is still there. Our bodies just may not, we're slow to catch up.
Yeah. Because I think there is, for women who are not like you, there probably is like, you don't like me anymore, or
yeah,
don't want it anymore, or whatever. And it's like, no, I don't. And it's not because of you. It's because my body is failing me.
Exactly. My body's betraying me. Like, you can do all the moves, but my little girl down there is not going to be responding.
Yes.
And it's not personal, but God, to the men, it must
absolutely
feel. So, I don't know.
Yeah. So, I mean, hormone replacement can help that. Right?
Can it help all the other things too? The hot flashes, the night sweats,
Yes, all of that. Estrogen. Now we got to talk about not only that, but the number one thing that kills women in peri to postmenopause, number one is heart disease.
Really?
Yes, and estrogen replacement or estrogen therapy, that's also a nomenclature thing.
Yeah.
But
whatever you call it.
Taking estrogen will protect against that.
Wow.
So it protects against cardiovascular disease in women. It protects against dementia. It protects against osteoporosis. So here's the thing that I think about as a physical therapist is we're going to have from 2002, when all doctors were like, okay, no more estrogen for women.
Right.
We're going to have this subset of women who have not been on estrogen for however many years. They're all going to be little osteoporotic women that are falling and breaking their hips, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You break your hip, your mortality rate.
Whose marriages have dried up.
Yeah.
So tell me this. So knowing that,
colon cancer.
Oh, Jesus. Lord, help us. My question then is who do we talk to? Our GP, our NP? And what happens when they say, well, here's a problem with hormone therapy?
You say, I have done my research,
mm-hmm.
and I know that estrogen is going to protect me from other things, and I will take that risk of breast cancer. Because actually in one of the books that we talked about, they discuss that women who are on hormone therapy that do develop breast cancer actually have a better survivor rate than women who are not on hormone therapy.
Are you kidding me?
Right?
Okay. All right, look.
Now, again, in medicine, it always depends.
Sure.
So if you are a woman whose primary or first degree female relative, sister, mother, maternal aunt, grandmother had breast cancer before the age of 35, your chances may be higher if you take estrogen. But if you haven't, like my mother is 70 something, never had breast cancer. Her sister did have breast cancer, but she was a smoker, so like I can't go with that.
Right.
But my mother has never had it. I have two sisters, they've never had it. So I feel like my chances of breast cancer are going to be more as I get older.
Yeah. Anyway.
General, right. So for me, the benefit of being protected against cardiovascular disease, osteoporosis, colon cancer, dementia,
And these
yes,
symptoms that affect your quality of life.
Yes. For me, I have not had hot flashes yet. My biggest one for going ahead and getting the estrogen, two things, reading these books. The other one was memory. I was having a really hard time with word choice.
Yes. Oh my God.
Like not being able to think of the word that I wanted to use.
Girl, I taught English for years. I'm a wordsmith and I can't form a sentence.
But then it would get to the point where I could see the object in my head. I knew exactly what I wanted to say, but my brain literally could not make the word.
What does it
Like,
look?
I would see a lamp in my brain. I would be like,
What's
in
the
my head going, lamp.
the
lamp,
the
lamp.
Little Mermaid? The Little Mermaid with the fork. It's a dingle hopper.
Yeah. Or like, liar, liar. The pin is...
Like, we have the word, we can't find it.
Yes. And, I actually am on estrogen right now, and I feel like that has gotten a little better.
Can I just say, I didn't say this.
Placebo or not?
Whatever works.
Better.
I'm just going to say this. When we were getting everything set up, I noticed that you look better. Like, I know that you were struggling with a little bit of weight gain and bloating and all those issues. You look like you lost weight.
Wow. Yeah, no, because I still feel like that. And I have worked out
Religiously.
my entire life. And I get what I call the minnow belly, right? Where you're just gaining it in your belly.
Yeah.
And it just irritates the crap out of me because I'm like, it has to be perimenopause because I'm not gaining weight anywhere else.
Yeah.
My face looks the same. My arms look the same. My legs look the same. But I've got this like stuff on my belly that I'm like, where?
Yeah.
Right. Like it.
Right.
So I'm hoping that I just started it maybe a month or so ago. So what I've gathered from these two, like the must know from these two books, is an estrogen patch is less risky than taking it by mouth. It's kind of like your risk for blood clots, like if you're taking birth control pills, your risk of blood clots go up. So something about taking it by mouth increases some risks. Transdermal is better. If you still have a uterus, you must take progestin, some form, with the estrogen, because if you don't, estrogen builds up your uterine lining.
Oh dear.
So if you're not having periods and that lining is building up,
right,
then your chance of endometrial cancer, you will get endometrial cancer.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So if you have a uterus, you have to take estrogen and progesterone at the same time. If you don't have a uterus, then you can just take the estrogen.
Yeah.
The time frame for taking it, that seems to be best case scenario, is like the 10-year window. So average age of menopause is 50 to 52. So you want to probably start taking estrogen in your mid 40s.
Yeah.
Is kind of where you want to start taking it. After the age of 60 or 10 years post menopause, your risk goes up a little bit because estrogen is inflammatory. It's an inflammatory compound, and so they do see a little bit of increase in cardiovascular events when you take it later, because it can irritate like if you already have some cardiovascular disease happening, it can exacerbate that.
Okay.
So here's my situation is I have an IUD. IUDs use progesterone to help decrease the lining in the uterus, to keep it from like anything from implanting. So for me, I just have the patch, and then my IUD is my progesterone. I don't have to take anything else. Progesterone, from what I gather in the books, I'm not a pharmacist or a doctor, does not absorb well through the skin, so you need to take progesterone orally. There was a long thing in the menopause manifesto about like compounding estrogen, progesterone, things like that. I'm not totally against it. I definitely have patients that do that, but it's not regulated. And I did have a patient who had like a compounding. She was using some testosterone, and it was like double what she was supposed to be getting.
Oh dear.
So she had some like pretty bad.
So you just have to be careful about.
You just gotta make sure that you're getting it from a legit place. But I mean, even then, like they can make mistakes. Like people are human; they make mistakes.
Yeah.
You know, and you can't really know how much is in it.
I know that we could go on for days.
We could.
We've already decided that we're going to do an episode again on pain alone.
Take two.
Yeah, we're going to do one on just pain.
Yes.
In general. I was looking forward to this conversation for so long. I'm glad we finally got a chance to do it. I know we could go on for much longer, but I just want to say some of the things that you've talked about today are eye-opening and possibly life-changing, because what I've learned I can take to my doctor. Our listeners can go to their own doctors, and we didn't say at the beginning, but I hate that it has to be said. Do not take anything she said as medical advice, for God's sake. You must talk to your own doctor about what's best for you. But I definitely feel more informed, and that is always a good thing when it comes to, advocating for yourself. But, it matters so much for our generation. So like a lack of a well-rounded health education in our youth, I mean, okay, because we're covering the basics, right? And maybe that's because we start health class too late, and we stop it too early. Like it becomes an elective, Right. But I feel like there's no excuse for lack of health education in adulthood from our very own doctors. And that's something that needs to change. And I think conversations like this help to change it, because it empowers men and women to go to their doctors and say, this is what I think needs to be done. Right. And so maybe that self-advocacy will start to turn the table on this.
Yes. And let me try it. Like, if you don't think it's going to work fine, let me just try. Just write the prescription and let me try. It's not going to hurt me, right?
Yeah. So it's more like doctors apparently are not going to bring it up. It's our job to bring it up, and maybe if there's some pushback, get second opinions, or just advocate for yourself. Because what we've been told growing up is not true.
Yes, and pelvic floor exams are not scary. We don't use a speculum, right? It's a digital exam. We're just looking to see how the muscles function and work, and everything is at your pace. Like if you don't want that and you want to try the other things, like There are ways to relax your pelvic floor without internal work. There are behavioral things that you can change, right? There are other things that we can do before we go internal.
And now we know that, if your OBGYN or your urologist does not bring this up, you can bring it up with them and say, what about physical therapy? If there's anything you take away from this episode, ladies and gentlemen, it's that your physical therapist can be a great resource for helping you through these issues and helping you solve some of these problems and improving your health and quality of life. I hope that's what this episode has done. So thank you for being here, Andi.
My pleasure.
And thank you so much for listening to another piece of the Gen X experience worth saving. We just tackled the kinds of health truths our generation was never told, but desperately needed to hear. And they've now been immortalized in the annals of history. If you like what you heard, subscribe to the Best of Gen X wherever you get your podcasts so you never miss an episode. Andi, always a pleasure. That was perfect.